You're now listening to N21FM, a Pokemon podcast. I'm your host, Glenn. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Johnny. How you doing today, buddy?
I am doing pretty good. Just kind of spent the day working on some packing. Family and I are going down to Tampa, Florida for Christmas with my folks. So it's been a busy weekend, but it's been fun.
Very nice. Glad to hear that. You sound a lot better. Is that a new microphone setup you've got?
Is a new microphone setup. Thank you. I got a new setup. Got some stuff for my birthday earlier this month. So super awesome there. Finally kind of getting it sounding better, looking better.
Is that an XLR
desk
microphone?
is all cleaned up. It is an XLR microphone.
Huge upgrade. Love that for you. Outstanding. Well,
yeah.
Wonderful. It's great to see you. And we're joined wonderfully. I'm so excited to announce this. We're joined by the one, the only, the king of rogue decks, Matthew Wood himself, or LittleDarkFury, as you might be familiar. Welcome to the show, LDF. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. I know we were kind of working on this for a bit, but I'm glad to finally be on, and I'm super excited. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast, so I'm excited to sit down and talk and just kind of talk about like the journey and stuff on YouTube and whatnot.
Sweet. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we were able to work this out, especially with the busy holiday schedule. There's a listen. I'm no stranger to the busyness and the stuff getting scheduled. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before. I ended up having maybe 5 minutes at home to myself because my calendar was like, I think it was literally, I had a challenge that I was judging, and then a Christmas party to go to, and then the next day I was watching the football game with the same people that I went to their party the night before. So like,
yep.
Between all that and church and the usual stuff, it was just like, I'm home for 5 minutes. I'm home to sleep and then to like brush my teeth, and that's about it. So, cool. Well, it's great to see you both. I'm happy to be back in the studio. This will be our last broadcast of 2025, and this will actually be going live on free feeds on Christmas Day, which is pretty exciting. So if you're listening to this live on Christmas Day, first of all, thanks, I guess. It's kind of odd that you're listening to this while you're celebrating with family, but I'll take it, honestly. If you're listening to this as it goes live on Patreon, though, thank you for your patronage. Thank you for being here. Remember, there's still time to take advantage of the couple of gifted $1 memberships over on there that goes live. I think the sale goes through December 31st. That's at patreon.com/terminalcreative. $1 a month gets you early access to the show. As well as access to N21 Plus, our bonus show. $5 gets your questions read on the show. And $10 is our producer tier, where we're currently populated by only one, but he is very dear and close to me, and we'll read his name at the end of the show like we always do. I'm trying to think of other stuff we've done on there recently. We've done a topic that's actually come up recently in our local Discord, Johnny. Our first Booze and Battle video that we did over there, our alternate format where we add a little bit of alcohol and fun into the Pokemon trading card game. That video has been live on there for a while. That's good to go do. The December Q&A feed. I'll have the January one up soon. All the kind of good stuff like that. Plenty of other benefits over on Patreon, so be sure to check that out. Remember that we don't roll ads, so that is the trade-off you get, is that you get to listen to us ramble about our Patreon, so that you never have to hear something about like Chumba Casino or whatever. All right. With that said, let's get into things. So we've got a couple of major topics that we're gonna speak with Matthew about. Do you go by Matthew or Matt?
Matt's probably like the best. Just straightforward, you know.
Got it. Sounds good to me. So we're going to talk about Matt with you as a just as a person, as a player of Pokemon, and how you engage with Pokemon, and just as a creator and being in the YouTube space. We've got all that lined up, and then we actually have a segment that I'll surprise you with later. It's not scary, don't worry, but it's one we do on the show, and I hope you have fun with it as well. So let's get into this. First of all, I kind of spoiled the first part of this question, but Matt, who are you? What's your name, your kind of age? I know you're like origin, where you're from, things like that.
Yeah, so my name's Matt, and I'm from Canada. I'm just outside of Toronto, and I've been playing Pokemon for probably like, 2025? I've probably been playing it for like 15 years now, something like that. I first started playing back in the Diamond and Pearl era. That's where I met a lot of my like friends I'm still friends with to this day. like my friend Anil, my friend Alan, my friend Andrew. So it's just kind of a long journey, but I've been really just enjoying Pokemon. Basically, like it's been my life almost for probably the past 15 years now.
Wow.
And just kind of doing the content creation. It's been a lot of fun. Um, yeah, outside of that, like I just like chilling with my friends. I'm a pretty like busy person. I just have a lot of like friends outside of YouTube and stuff that I like to hang out with. I tend to go out a lot. Usually not home all the time. But yeah, I just kind of like living life and just kind of chilling. Toronto's a great city. There's a lot to do in the area. And I like traveling too. That's one of my favorite things about like Pokemon right now is all the traveling you get to do. Something that I never really did before. I started playing IRL Pokemon seriously in like 2021. I didn't really do a lot of traveling, so it's really cool to kind of just be out there more and just go outside and just see the world and just hang out with friends and just be more social. I used to not be as social back in the day growing up, but it's really cool to kind of be in that like social bubble now.
Yeah, that's super cool. Do you have a favorite place you've traveled to? For a regional or for a competition or otherwise?
Currently, I really like Los Angeles. Somewhere that I would like love to live one day is LA. I went there briefly for Worlds this year when it was in Anaheim. So I got to explore a bit of Hollywood, but I'm probably going to go back because LA Regionals got announced actually just recently. So probably going to go to that and go back to LA. But really enjoyed traveling to like Brazil a couple years back for LAIC. London was really cool to travel to. The jet lag kind of killed me there, but I'm definitely excited to go back to London for UIC. So yeah, those are some of my favorite places. Also, Las Vegas was really cool too. That was pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the casino, so it was cool to kind of go to like the city of casinos.
There was a picture of you posted, I think, on Twitter. It's not like specifically of you. It's a photo of
I know
it's posted with somebody's deck list, and you're just like in the background, like looking at I guess it's a craps table or whatever. It's one of my favorite photos on the planet because it's like you've got this serious face, like you are maybe just put it all on red, and
it's locked in.
Listen, I respect it. Vegas was where a lot of people lost everything.
Oh, I agree. That was a funny picture because Nick Moffat needed to make a deck list picture for his top 8 Dengo deck. So we had the idea of we were at a casino and we went to we asked the guy who like ran the craps table if we could do a deck list, but he didn't really know what we were talking about. So we we're doing it really quickly, like we were doing the like layout in the picture, and the guy like told us like, all right, that's enough, man. Like he didn't know it was 60 cards. But he told us like that's enough because you're not allowed to do that. So he kind of got mad at us. We had to do that at like 10 seconds and take the picture, and I'm just standing there like just looking at it like, what is going on?
That's so funny.
It was so funny.
I was literally going to ask like how the dealer felt about it. I could imagine being a dealer at a casino and seeing that and not knowing what's going on. Like, what is this? These aren't poker cards.
Yeah, he got mad at us after because because he didn't realize there were so many cards in the deck. Like he probably thought it was like a couple of cards, but we were like putting the whole 60 cards out there, and he was like, "All right, that's enough, man. Like I'm gonna get in trouble here because you're not allowed to like do that on like dead tables or whatever, like empty tables." The fact that he even let us do this in the first place, honestly, kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, really, they're very strict from what I'm told in Vegas about like anything fishy or like weird at all happening at tables. I want to go to Vegas.
Vegas was really fun. I'm honestly hoping they do NEIC there after New Orleans' contract is up next year because it's such a good place for an IC. Also, like it basically was an IC. All the players from around the world were there. A lot of Europeans, Australians, Japan was there. Like crazy stuff. Tord won the tournament, so it was like that was a pretty good IC location. It was basically a mini IC.
It's so funny. I think it was literally the episode we put out right before Vegas Regionals where we called Tord washed because we had not seen any results from him. And then he goes up and wins, and I was like, all right, well, I've got my foot in my mouth.
That one
Tord I don't think won any tournaments this year other than Vegas.
Yeah. Well, he's been very like under the radar, just kind of doing his thing, which I respect. Yeah. But it was just funny to like, as soon as I was like, I think he's washed, and then he's like, nah, I got this still. Don't worry.
I'm still winning. Yeah. Yeah. Because like I know Tord didn't do as good at Worlds this year. He did okay at NEIC, I think, and UIC, but you know, usually once a year he'll win like a big tournament, right?
Yeah.
And like change everything. And then he finally got to do it in Las Vegas, which I think was the biggest tournament of all time.
I'd say so.
I'm pretty sure. I think it was.
I haven't looked the numbers up, but yeah. I mean, that you know what? I would believe it. I'd honestly believe it.
Yeah.
Super cool. All right. Yeah, Johnny, you got one. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna branch onto that because I know you mentioned you like to hang out with friends and stuff like that. What do you have any other like big hobbies outside of Pokemon? Any other TCGs you do, or just like standard video game stuff? Kind of what's your thing?
Honestly, like I'm just so like busy with Pokemon. I actually don't really have a lot of time to play like any other like card games. I've dipped a bit into Yu-Gi-Oh, but nothing modern, like more like vintage Yu-Gi-Oh. But
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
told that
yeah,
you're
it's just
better off that way.
yeah. Like when Yu-Gi-Oh, what was it, Duel Links came out on the Switch a while back, I tried like one
Mhm.
game and like I got like I literally lost before I even got to have a turn. It was something ridiculous like that. It was like I played
Jeez.
expanded format. So I was like,
Oh
all right, no,
man.
I'm not playing this game, man.
Treacherous.
What's your
It was
what's your
very
favorite vintage format there? Do you do goats or is it like monarchs or is it something a little older than that?
probably like the GX era.
Oh, okay, yeah. Perfect, dude.
Yeah.
That's so sick. I've said it in our friend group before. If I was ever gonna go back to like playing any sort of Yu-Gi-Oh, I would definitely pick up that kind of era. Like Monarchs 2006, for me that was like peak Yu-Gi-Oh before they came out with synchros and stuff. I know I sound like an old head probably, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
Synchro. I remember that. I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid growing up. Like Yu-Gi-Oh GX was one of my favorite shows.
Mhm.
And I
Oh
remember
yeah.
when Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds came out, I was like, this whole like it just like changed, like the synchros and stuff. Like the monsters like all changed, and it felt like kind of like the EX revolution in Pokemon, where we got like
Oh, yeah.
Mewtwo EX and stuff in Next
Yeah.
Destinies. I kind of related similar to like the birth of the power creep of
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
interesting. My
For
only
sure.
memory of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I could
5Ds
definitely understand
was
that.
was like the Akira slide in the commercial for it because I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! So like the only image I have of that is them like being on bikes. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess they're having fun dueling on bikes.
Well,
Interesting.
Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds wasn't going to come out. I mean, they didn't finish season 4 of GX, or was it
It's
season
true
5?
they didn't.
They didn't. They don't have an English dub of it, which they need to do. I mean, it's too late now, probably, but like that show
No.
was goated, and the final season needs a dub, especially with how it ended.
Mhm.
So
GX was the best season they ever, or it was the best like version of Yu-Gi-Oh they ever did. Like I know people are like, oh yeah, but the original, no, GX is the best.
yeah, GX is so good.
Wow. That's so interesting. Yeah. Nothing's ever good perfected the first time. Except for one thing. Bakugan Battle Brawlers was perfected the first time it was done. Every sequel series to that was terrible.
I remember that too. As a kid, Bakugan was like everywhere.
That anime is actually why I dunk on Charizard as much as I do, is because like I saw Dragonoid when I was little and I was like, this is sick. Why is everybody freaking out about this chubby lizard? But yeah, that was my like non-Pokemon thing. That was actually like my gateway drug for Pokemon, because I was like, well, this isn't. I was in a household where my parents were like, that's the devil. So I had to find like an alternative. So I was like, well, this is also a show where monsters come out of a ball. So maybe it's fine. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out to be totally fine, and now I'm still back in
Oh.
Pokemon.
They still sell Bakugan to this day at like Walmart and stuff like that. It's gone on. It's kind of crazy to see that.
There was a while where they actually had a proper TCG out of that as well, which I heard was really, really good.
I did not know that.
Neither did I.
I heard it was really good. One of my favorite YouTubers, Jet Kuso, actually did a couple videos on it. I really recommend his stuff. He owns like a film company, so all of his stuff is like really high quality, but they just talk about like old toys and like early 2000s nostalgia stuff. Definitely worth looking at. Cool. Interesting. Well, I guess we've knocked all the as a person questions we have written down. To be fair, it's just like I have written in our doc name, age, origin, and hobbies outside of Pokemon. Can you think of anything else about like your life outside of like behind the screen, outside of Pokemon that you think ought to be said, or because we can also just move on to your player journey, and I'm just as eager to hear about that.
Nah, yeah, not really. I mean, I'm just like, I think I kind of explained everything about my life. I'm pretty like outside of content, right? It's just like pretty simple stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to ask you kind of about your Pokemon journey. And before I delve into TCG too far, do you have, before you started playing Pokemon TCG, what was your experience like with the franchise as a whole? Because a lot of people like started off with the anime, some people started with the video games. What's your history with that?
What got me into Pokemon was the video games. It was, I think, Gold and Silver were like the first two games I ever played as a kid. Because before, back in elementary school, I used to go to my buddy's house before school. He would take me to school. And I'd get babysat maybe for like an hour in the morning when my parents went to work. And one of their kids had Gold and Silver, and I would play that with him for a bit before school every day. So that kind of got me into Pokemon. And then I think I got into TCG through like just like opening packs and be like, these are cool cards. And there was like a local game store near where I lived, which I checked out one day, and I found out that they did like tournaments there and stuff. And that's kind of how I got into everything. It was really like when Diamond and Pearl came out is when like that really started to like kick into full gear, I'd say.
Nice. What was your first deck then?
I can't remember my first deck, but the first competitive deck I ever played to a big tournament was a Machamp Nidoking deck. It was not very good. The Machamp was very good, however. There's this Machamp from Diamond and Pearl, where when you it's got the attack takeout that just knocks out any basic Pokemon in the active spot. It was like really, really good. And back in the day, I was a kid. I didn't really have money or anything, so I couldn't really like afford all these like flashy cards like Luxray level X, Garchomp level X. So instead, I just built this like homemade Machamp Nidoking deck. This Nidoking was not very good, but I wanted to put something in my Machamp deck, so I put a Nidoking in there for no reason. I think I went like 3-3 at my first ever regional with the deck. That's my first experience. If you ever saw on like Twitter, during like the V-Star era, I'd have my V-Star marker was like a reverse hollow Machamp. That's kind of is why it's like my favorite. It's one of my favorite cards of all time, and that's why I got that gifted from a subscriber in Orlando in 2023. And ever since then, I just used it as my V-Star marker.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. We've kind of touched on you don't really play any other TCGs outside of you had that delve into Yu-Gi-Oh for a second. Did you have a favorite team when you're playing like Gold and Silver? Did you have anything any particular Pokemon that you were really fond of in the VGC or just playing through the story of those games?
I was a big fan of Totodile, specifically in Gold and Silver, because it was like the best. I think it learned Ice Fang, and it was like really good against Lance, because like Lance is like really tough without an ice attacker, and that's why I actually like Totodile. He's my favorite starter Pokemon probably. So yeah, Totodile is the one I use the most in Gold and Silver, and like I'd always catch like an Ampharos because like just a generally good card in that game, or good Pokemon in that game. Those are like the two main ones. And like Diamond and Pearl, I'd always start with Chimchar or Turtwig, because they gain like a really good dual type that like makes the team like super overpowered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, wow.
Torterra supremacy. I was a huge Torterra fan, so
it's really good to have against the gym number 4 with the Lucario, because you can learn Earthquake when you evolve. So you just like kill the Lucario.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for me Torterra was just honestly it was just because it was such a good attacker in that game, and it had like what was it, late game, honestly late game was like such a cheese with it, because you could hit the what was it, there's a Fire Elite 4 member that you could hit for weakness with Earthquake, and just learning Earthquake like naturally on a starter is crazy strong.
Yeah, like if you're not gonna get Garchomp in that game, Torterra is honestly a pretty good option.
Yeah, for sure.
Super good.
You gave us a little bit of like your first deck and kind of first foray into the competitive experience. From then, what kind of, I guess to now, what has been your favorite deck and format overall? And then kind of currently, what's your favorite deck right now?
Right now, so I guess we'll start with go like backward or forward to backwards. Right now, I'm really enjoying Charizard. In this format, I'm trying to like, this format isn't terrible. There's like a lot of item lock, Goldengo's BDIF, debatably, and I'm really just enjoying Charizard because it just feels like a pretty good deck. It takes a lot of skill to pilot really well. So I've been playing a lot of Charizard, playing a lot of like Pidgeysard, with like Monkey Dory and Dusknoir and stuff. One of my favorite decks probably from like the modern era would either be Goldengo or Reggie's. Those are just two decks that like I played a ton of. And I made my first ever day 2 with Reggie's. My first regional I went to in this modern era was Baltimore regionals back in 2022, and I almost made day 2. My first ever regionals, I lost the winning into Flying Pikachu Arceus, and even then it was a close game. But I think it came down to like time or something, and I gave him the win because he was favored to win the game anyways in that situation. But I did lose my first ever winning in my first regional with Reggie's, and then I made my first day 2 with the deck. So yeah, Reggie's one of my favorite decks of all time. Just such a fun deck to play. And then Goldengo is just another deck that like I've just always played. I've been off of it recently because I've been not doing as well with it as much as I would like to, but I'm really close with like some of the big Dengo heads like Yellow and Kempen. Me and him are good buddies, and just really enjoy Goldengo. It's just a fun deck to play, and there's so many different weird things you can do with it and build different Dengo decks that it's always been just super fun. I haven't been playing it as much recently just because I've just been off of it now, and it's too mainstream now. Goldango was really fun when it wasn't mainstream, but now everybody's playing it. It's like the most popular deck when you go to a tournament. But, I might play it again, pick it up one more time before rotation. But those are like my two favorite decks. I'm really a big fan also of Mad Party. From
okay.
like the early 2020s. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
remember my first time, I remember playing an online tournament with a Mad Party deck, which had a Dugong in it from Unbroken Bonds. It was like really good against Blacephalon. And I played that to a online tournament, got top 8, and then I saw like Azul played the deck and then won a tournament with it. Like that was just like a cool experience. Like my own cool innovation creation started doing really good. So that's another one of my favorite all-time decks, probably.
If I can interject, I think it's so funny with the things you said about Goldango. You sound precisely like our buddy James. He is, at least at the local level, the pioneer of Goldango as like technology. He was on like Baby Genesect, and even at one point I think he had a Badu in the deck when it was first starting to pick up a lot of steam, and he has the exact same sentiment of like, oh, I played it a lot when it was really like not popular, but now that it's like the best deck in format, I kind of don't want to play it.
Yeah, Goldango was like a really good anti like meta deck. When Goldango's under the radar, I think the deck is honestly like one of the best decks you can bring to a tournament. But when everyone plays it, it's like very boring. The mirror match is horrible, by the way. It's like literally whoever takes the first 2 prizes wins. Like it's awful. When Goldango got popular, that's when I started to lose interest in the deck. But when the deck was like a secret deck, it's like insane. I played Goldango to EUIC this year, and I thought I had the best deck in the room, even though I didn't make day 2. My buddy made top 64 with the deck. I was playing one card off of Yella's list, who he got top 16 with. Like I genuinely thought Goldango had the best chance of winning the tournament. And then I played Goldango to San Antonio this year too with Palkia Prime Catcher over the Search Pro build, and I bubbled out a top 64. But looking back, if I cleaned up my play a little bit in day 1, I had a better record. I think I was favored to honestly do like really good in the tournament and make like top 8 or win it all. Because like Goldango is just so broken. But people do not respect it or think about it. The deck is genuinely really good. But when it's all over the place, it's like it's too mainstream, too good. And like I said, the mirror is just not fun, man. It's one of the worst mirrors in the game.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
It is very bad, yeah.
That's very cool. Glad you brought up Regis. That's such a cool deck.
I was gonna go back to that one too, actually, because I got into the TCG at the beginning of like 24. So for me, it wasn't like I didn't have a ton of time really playing Regis when they were, big. But I really enjoyed the end of last year and kind of beginning of this year, right after Badu came out and cleaned up the Dragos a little bit. I went back into the Regis with the Pikachu and Radiant Greninja in it, and that was so much fun to play. Like Pikachu EX with Regis, that was probably some of the most fun I've ever had with the card game at this point.
Yeah, that deck was pretty cool. I think it was when Ares Zero came out. That deck actually became like viable. And you could use it like you could like turn one Greninja your opponent. Yeah, that deck was pretty sick. That was a pretty.
And
sick
you could use the trolley to get the whole squad. It was
true. Yeah, you go trolley, Greninja. You get discard energy. Yeah, you had luminous energy. I think there was another energy. I think it was all it might have just been all basic energies, if I remember correctly.
It might have been
the version that I played was like 2 of all the energies needed. Or I think I didn't. I didn't include fighting. I think I didn't respect Regirock. That card's terrible.
Understandable.
Yeah, so bad.
I was just thinking of Regis when you had Aurora energy and like Speed Lightning. That was when the deck was broken.
Yeah.
You just like throw whatever in the discard and be like, haha, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, Regis just such an iconic deck from the Sword and Shield era, and I guess Regis kind of died off with rotation when the Lugia format ended, but definitely just an iconic deck in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's I find myself finding like a weird amount of nostalgia for that format, which is hilarious because it's objectively probably the worst format we've had in the modern era. Is like that Silver Tempest era.
It was pretty bad, yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of variety happening. I found that, I mean, if you weren't hitting a Lugia, you were hitting something completely different. And I thought that was really exciting. So
I honestly kind of liked Silver Tempest format. Like looking back, I didn't think the format was as bad. Like it was not fun. Like Lugia being the most overpowered deck ever, but it's like the format was actually not that bad. There were some cool innovations. People were building cool ideas to try to counter Lugia. Nothing actually stuck, I don't think, but That the format's honestly not as bad. Like it was way better than the ADP format we had. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
sure.
Or
think
even
I
the
tried-
Palkia V-Star format was also pretty bad.
Really interesting. I didn't play
Yeah,
when Palkia was at its like height. I was being a hipster about that one, so I didn't get onto Palkia until after it was already bad again. So I don't know, but I'd believe that about Lugia as a format. It was cool because like I think back to that Charlotte regional because that's one of the few regionals I've been to. I don't really get to travel very much at current, but like I was playing Palkia. There were a lot of people playing like Frostmoth box. Obviously, E-Turn was really big. I found myself.
I think E-Turn won the tournament, I think, right?
Yeah,
and then
it
Gaten
did.
Koos won it with
I think that's correct.
He beat Reggie's in the finals, I think, actually, which is kind of ironic.
Crazy. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, and I found myself at like the weird brackets. Also, I think it was maybe it was the next year at Charlotte. Yeah, it was. No. Okay,
Yeah.
so this has happened
Was
2
it?
years in a row. Is what happened was
Must have been.
I found myself at the Goober brackets at Charlotte twice. And both times I found myself against Shadow Rider decks. One of them was with Radiant Eternatus, and the other was with Path to the Peak and the Soul Rock and Lunatone that shut off stadiums for your side of the board. And if I had a nickel for every time I was paired up against a really weird Shadow Rider deck, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. It's very much that sentiment. Those were strange decks.
That's crazy. That's very strange.
Yeah. But yeah, that I think fondly about that era, especially like I miss V-Star powers. I don't know about you, but I think like the once per game gimmick that we have right now of A specs is maybe like a little less cool than a V-Star power or even a GX attack. But I don't know. I have a lot of fondness for that.
I agree. I miss, well, actually, one of the things with Goldengo is I actually miss playing it with Palkia. It was one of the best partners for it. It's just such it was a cool partner, man. And Goldengo is now very, like, linear and generic and just, like, it feels like Raging Bolt almost. Like, it doesn't feel like there's as much, like, cool things you can do with it. Like, with the Palkia build, it was so fun. And, yeah, I miss V-Stars only because Palkia. Also, I miss Arceus because Arceus was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, Arc Dumbreon was a sick deck. I miss that deck. Every day.
I made top 32 with that deck. I got that deck list the night before the regional, and I top 32 with Dumbreon. That deck was really, really good. That's also one of my favorite decks, actually, just because I have such fond memories of it. That deck was insane.
Yeah, so cool.
Oh man, I miss. I don't know. I miss Arceus for different reasons, but for me, it's actually you highlighted it on your video from was it the upload from today? I think the upload from earlier today with Ho-Oh Armourouge because I was an Arc Armourouge head. Like I was a huge Arc Armourouge head when that card dropped. Oh my god, Ho-Oh kind of scratches the same itch, but it's not the same.
Ho-Oh feels like it feels like a weird version of Lugia and Arceus because it's like special energy binder drop deck with a lot of different attackers and energy acceleration. Like it feels like a combination of Lugia and Arceus.
Yeah.
Yo,
I think Arceus is probably why you're so big on Flareon box lately, Johnny. Is because it's very similar.
100%.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, I would say. Well, not like similar, but like the same concept is there.
Yeah,
with
it's like
100%.
It's like a weird power crept Arc Intel, low key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way to put it. True, because you have the Noctowls, those Inteleons, and Drizzles.
Crazy until at least until Watchtower becomes the most played stadium in format.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Yeah, Watchtower's looking like it's going to be very popular going forward.
Yeah,
especially with Zoar getting a buff with Zekrom. I can see Watchtower being very common in that deck.
So
good. All right,
I'm so ready.
Switching to Zorak then.
Johnny, I've been preaching you the gospel of Zoroark since it came out, dude.
I know. I got to switch off. I'm too obsessed with Jewel Seeker.
It'd be like that. I get it. So Matt, I wanted to kind of move on to also your philosophy on decks and like approaching the game in this same category as you as a player. I'm curious as to what put you on to. You're obviously known for being like the rogue deck guy. It's like you and like For the Win TCG.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious what got you into the headspace of like, oh, this is what I want to at least create content around. I don't know how frequently those are also the decks you're playing, but what got you into the mindset of like rogue decks are really cool, I like them, I want to do something with them?
Yeah, so when I first started doing Pokemon TCG content back in like 2014 on PCGO, I always just like playing like weird stuff. Even like back when I played IRL in like 2011, 2012, I was still into like that headspace of just trying out random stuff for no reason. And then also like on YouTube, I grew up watching channels like Puka, the Top Cut, right? So it's like he did rogue deck content sometimes. Like he was kind of a mix of the two, like competitive rogue stuff. But that was kind of one of my main inspirations for YouTube. And I've always just been a big fan of just playing all kinds of different cards. I like creating different decks. Like one of my favorite things to do in the game is just genuinely deck building, just like sitting down and building, coming up with ideas and coming up with decks. I mean, even before literally we started recording, I was sitting on PDCG L for a bit, building like some weird Goldengo deck that I was trying to figure out a cool way to play the deck that's not just Soul Rock Lunatone. So yeah, I've been just kind of cooking ideas for a while. I just like deck building. I like coming up with ideas. I'm fairly I think I'm a pretty creative person, I would say, and I just like being creative. And PDCG Live building Pokemon decks does let you do that, in my opinion. And it's also just more fun to just play different stuff every day than having to play like the same deck over and over and over again. You know, it gets boring.
Yeah, I find that it's fun to have like one deck to bot, but it's like generally speaking, it's fun to play a bajillion different things. I have probably 5 decks built in paper just at any given moment, just so I can mess with different stuff.
Same. Yeah.
Cool. Along with that, just kind of, this is more of like maybe an experience question, but I wanted to kind of know what it's like. Obviously, you're still a member of the Shuffle Squad, correct? I want to make sure that I have that information.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not like digging anything up. But yeah, I wanted to know kind of what it's like to have that group of people. Are you still like actively like playing with and testing with them? Okay.
Just not as much, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really test with them as much. You know, we before, I would say like during the early days of Shovel Squad, we did a more or less like we would kind of come to like group consensus with what we would play sometimes. We've usually done like the Shovel Squad Airbnbs where like it would be a bunch of people on the team staying together, and I would be over there, and you know I could see what other members were playing, and then actually with the Arceus Duraludon Umbreon story at Hartford, is I was originally going to play Arceus Giratina Flying Pikachu to that tournament, and literally the night before, Shovel Squad, a few of the members of like the Lost Kitchen, like Joe Turntine, Sawyer Melbourne, they were all like in the hotel lobby with the TSS guys, and they were just selling them on the idea of Arceus Duraludon, and I'm like, is this like actually good? So I tried it the night before, and I'm like, yo, this deck is actually really broken. So I was like, I'm just gonna scrap Arctina, and I'm gonna play Arcdura Umbreon instead, which ended up being debatably the best deck for that tournament. So I had a really good run. I made top 32, like just literally switching decks literally the night before. Like I went to bed maybe an hour later after I switched decks. Like I was locked in. That's
nice.
And even in Pittsburgh in 2023, we were at an Airbnb, and I was originally trying to flip-flop between colorless Lugia. And I think I even tried to make Reggie's work that night when Reggie's was like kind of okay for that tournament. And then I was like, colorless Lugia is cool. And then some of the TSS members were like, we're all playing this single strike Lugia deck that we got from Hedrick. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to play this, I guess, too, because I'm like, the rest of the guys are playing it. I might as well hop on the train, too. And I did lose my win-in. I lost to Lugia Mir on the win-in. I got a little unlucky and prized my, I think I milled a T-Tar. I prized a T-Tar and couldn't close the game out, the win-in. But, yeah, I would say, like, having a team is really good. Even if you're not all working together. Like, I think right now, TSS doesn't really work together. There's a lot of different members. There's, you know, we have Brent Tonneson on the team, Josh Frink, but they all don't work together. They kind of work separately with their own groups. We're just like more of a collective at that point. But before, during the early days, we did probably work a little bit more as a team, I would say.
Well, and even to the extent of not necessarily just like name brand members of the Shovel Squad, but like, what's it like just being able to have a group of people? Because you said you have friends you test with that are good at the game, clearly. Like, how do you think that differs from maybe just either doing it solo or having like a less experienced group of players? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say testing solo isn't terrible because like as long as you're just grinding and practicing a lot, like it'll pay off. Having a group of people though is always, in my opinion, pretty important. I mean, I've technically had like 2 groups before, the Shovel Squad and then like a group of friends who I know from like the local Toronto area. We've like when we travel together, we come up with our like deck ideas and stuff. Like for EYC this year, We all collectively played the Goldengo deck. I had a list from Yella, and I think we changed like 1 or 2 cards from his 60, and then we all were locked in, and we were all going to play the same decks. Like 4 of us played at EUIC. There's been times in like Orlando last year where my friend Sashi built this Arctina trekking shoes deck for Orlando, and he got everybody on the deck except for me. I played Ancient Box that tournament because I was sold on that deck for like 2 weeks before the tournament. I didn't want to switch off of it, but everyone he got to play the deck got day 2 with the deck. And he got top 16. He played against like Tord and Azul in that tournament. So like, and that's the thing. Like that was a deck he worked on with his friends probably for like a good 2 weeks before the tournament. Like he was really trying to sell them on the idea of trekking shoes, and it paid off really well. Like they all made day 2. He got top 16. So like definitely having a group of people to test with, to bounce ideas off of is very good. I know a lot of the top players in North America right now, like Henry Chow, Isaiah Bradner, Lucas Singh, Abon Ahmed, they all work together. Like they're all in a big group called like the NA Super Group or something, and like they do like all the same things. Like they work together, they come up with their deck ideas. Henry Brand is usually the brain behind most of the regional winning decks nowadays, and even like Liam Halliburton, who has also been like kind of changing things with Zoark. Like I'm pretty sure in that group too. So like they all work together and bounce ideas off each other, which I think is just very valuable.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we've had like one experienced team, like as a team working together for a deck list, and that was prior to this past year, where it was 2 of us, me and Johnny, and then our aforementioned friend James, the big golden go head, and our friend Zach. We have like a group chat where we ended up just kind of going with Terrabox for Atlanta, which I still defend that decision. I think if we had played the Farigiraf build, it would have been more favorable into the field. But it was cool kind of coming to that conclusion as a group. And then Johnny, you, myself, and Zach actually were able to arrive at the same 60 for Sablezard, but right before rotation as well. And I found that that's one of the most fun that we've had, at least that I've had playing the game. Just having that moment of like,
definitely.
No, this is the 60. And then just being able to share that was really cool.
I agree. Like when I'm traveling with my group of friends and they're all playing the same deck, like I think it's just really cool to experience that and like kind of see the ideas when they're testing in the hotel room days before the tournament, coming up with ideas. For Vancouver this year, we played a really wacky Goldengo Dragapult deck. This is before rotations. This is like when Dengo Pull wasn't very good. But we were trying to figure out how to beat Cloth, so we decided to play Klefki plus Dragapult in Goldengo. And I think we spent like 2 or 3 days before Vancouver testing the deck, and it honestly wasn't terrible. I kind of got a little unlucky after my 3-0 start, but few of them made day 2. It was just obviously worse than Palkia, or obviously worse than the bill with Spiritomb and Baby Dengo that Lucas played. But that was like another thing where we spent like 3 days in our hotel room in Vancouver, literally just trying to perfect this weird Goldengo anti-cloth deck. And I'll tell you, that was a lot of fun. It was probably better than just like being like boring and like, oh, we already know what we're going to play. Let's maybe run a few games. Like actually having a theory craft. Like I was pitching so many ideas at them, like the entire couple of days we were testing. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it to anyone who has, wants to get a group. Like if you can, it's actually so much fun when you travel these tournaments with your friends and you're all trying to, you all want to play the same deck and the same 60 and then kind of spending a few days testing and coming up with ideas. Like it's so much fun. It's very rewarding too when it pays off.
I believe it.
No, I'm sure.
I still have
it was a ton of fun for us. So
I still have memories of the that GLC boozing battle we did the night afterwards. I'll never get over the fact that so Matt, like I said prior, we do that booze and battle format where the premise is we do just a standard game of Pokemon, or we'll do like a best of 5, or if we're playing GLC and we have like the night, we'll do like an entire conquest. And the twist is for every prize card your opponent takes, you take a beer shot. So we were in the Airbnb and we did a teamed conquest where as soon as you won your game, you switched out with your teammate, and I think it was like 5 decks to win. And
we did first to 5. That was a lot.
Why did we? I'll never understand why we did that. But I was recording and I still have a lot of those memories, and I still have the footage itself saved. But all of my footage from that entire weekend, my camera was not recording audio. So I remember getting home and feeling like my world was collapsing. I was so upset.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, but like those Airbnb memories are still like some of my favorite
Yeah.
things. Like, and having just like us arriving on like, no, this is the 60 to play. This is the lines that we haven't really thought about before. These are the cards to include, the tech cards to include the matchups that you think are going to be good or bad, or a different third thing. But yeah, so I appreciate your insight on like playing with a team, because that's something that at least at our local level, not a lot of people have experience with. There's like one group of local players that's like really, really good,
Mhm.
and then there's kind of everyone else, and like some really
Yeah.
small cliques. But
Yeah,
it's cool to have that insight.
Yeah.
Makes me want to do it
I
more.
think locally some teams are kind of like sort of forming, and I'm liking to see that more. I think that it would be really cool to see, like, if honestly multiple teams are just like one really large group kind of pop up out of Charlotte. So I know we have some really good players locally. So
Dude,
I don't know. That would be super, super cool to see happen.
I mean, yeah, like Joseph Burke, the new first year master, like he just was a semifinalist at Worlds. Like this is a good area. And I've interviewed a couple of people on here from our area that have performed well, like Preston Rutledge and Shane McManus. Like this is a solid area. I'm curious, Matt, like what's the Toronto area like for locals? Do you have people around you that you think are like exceptional, other than like, of course, your immediate friend group? What's the general skill level or like meta like in your kind of localized region?
Toronto is insane. The local scene is not only like pretty big, but also it is extremely competitive. Like some of the top players all go to Toronto locals, like Rowan, Lucas Zing, Piper Lapine, Julian Barry. It's insane. Like Andrew Estrada sometimes plays, Jackson Ford. Like it's a sweaty place. Like a lot of multi-regional champions go to locals in Toronto. And they're also like, not only are they highly competitive, but they're also really sweaty. There's a lot of people play in the Toronto area. A lot of people play Pokemon. I was at a League Challenge this past Friday at my local Manta Trading, and it was like 50 plus people on a random Friday night in the middle of December. It was like 50 people. It was insane. It was sold out like really quickly. There's a League Cup on the 26th there, and that's already sold out. Like these tournaments are just insane. Yeah, like sometimes we have like almost 100-player League Cups in our area. That's how big they get. Like there's a lot of people playing the game now in our area, but there's also a lot of really good competition. It's actually a pretty good experience, honestly. Because sometimes you'll be in top cut of a League Cup or challenge, and you're gonna hit like a top player who's won a regional before. And a lot of people, with like coaching and everything, like content and Limitless, like changing the way, like it's more easier now to get into deck building and learning how to play a deck well enough. Where the competition's gone a lot harder. It's not just like, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel very Mickey at the moment. It feels like, especially in Toronto, you know, you might not hit like a named player, but you're at least still probably going to have a good opponent who's probably been coached before, or like does a lot of playing on live or whatever. Like it feels like there's a big shift in like how good people are now at the game compared to like maybe before, where it did feel like it was a bit easier to win, but now it feels like people have so many more resources to get better at the game that they actually genuinely will get better at the game.
Oh yeah,
that's so cool, man. We really like to see like the local areas. Like, I mean, our local area gets uplifted by all the really good players, and it's really cool to see you know, players come up and then bring other people with them, or just raise the competition even in the local area, even if they're not going to, you know, I'm not expecting everyone who's, you know, insane at the game, right, to just come and like help everyone else up. But if you are really good at the game, by default, playing in your local area is going to cause other people to want to play towards your level, and more people wanting to play towards your level is going to raise the skill level in your area. So I'm all here for that.
It's very true. Like I said, like it's honestly not easy to win a League Cup or League Challenge here in the Toronto area, unless you go to like a really small game store where you don't have big tournaments. But like usually if you go to like a store where you're going to have like at least 50 plus people at a League Challenge, or even just like local $10 week, like you're going to probably at least get some decent competition. I mean, the competition's been so crazy out here. We've had players from around the world playing in Toronto League Cups and League Challenges before. Like we've had Aiden Coos here before. We've had Tord. Tord played in the League Cup. Not before a regional. He's just randomly been here.
Showed up.
just showed up, yeah, because I think
Crazy.
he's
Just hanging
friends with
around.
someone who lives in Toronto, and he showed up to a League Cup once. I think he won the League Cup too, which is
Jeez.
hilarious.
That's wild.
Yeah, like it gets crazy out here in Canada, man.
I want to visit so bad. I want to travel a little more in general, but Toronto's on my list. There's like a couple places in Canada that I just want to visit real bad. Toronto, of course, is on there. Ironically, Blackpool is also on there because they have a Magic convention. Not the Gathering, but like just like card Magic and stuff. And I want to go there real bad. But like that's really cool to like. I even noticed at like a localized level. I traveled to Raleigh at one point for a 1K. Actually ran into Grant Manley there and got smoked because he was on. Well, to be fair, I was on our Sablezard list that we cooked up, and he was on Ancient Box, which was already not a good spot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But like I don't know, I feel like it was evened out by the fact that like our Sablezard was all single prize, but I played like crap against him. I was definitely. It was before I've had as much exposure as I have had with the show, kind of like talking to people that I would ordinarily be pretty starstruck by. I've gotten a little used to that since then. But at the moment I was like, oh crap, dude. I'm against the I literally asked him before our game, I was like, you're like the Grant Manley, right? And he's like, yeah, I mean I'm like, all right, well, back it up.
Don't worry. I'm 0-2 against Grant Manley at regionals. I hit him in Toronto in 2022. I lost to him on stream. He was playing Lost Box with Zekrom at the time, and I was playing Lugia, Mewtwo Union. And then I lost him at NEIC last year. I was on Lost Box. He was on Gardevoir.
Jeez.
So I'm 0-2 against Grant. Yeah, don't worry. I'm in the same boat. Man.
Truly.
I have some accomplishments. I've beaten some big players before. I've beaten Henry Chow and Brent Tonneson this year, but I'm not. Yeah, my record against some of the big names haven't been as good. Like I've lost to Henry Brand, I've lost to Ian Robb, lost to Rahul, lost to Bradner.
Dude, Bradner's a demon as well. I played against him at
he's really good.
At the last Charlotte. I was on Rapid Strike and he was on that Lost Tina that ended up getting him pretty far.
They were all on that deck, I think.
I remember seeing the Arcanine, like, I still have the screenshot of him showing up on my Arcanine when listings were posted. I was like, oh my god. Like, it was terrifying. I was like, man, I have like a good game one, and then you're going to put me against this guy? What are we doing here?
Yeah, what I hit Atlanta this year. I hit Brent Tonneson, Rahul, and Isaiah in the tournament. I hit Brent round 2, so like not even like a great chance of hitting him. I just happened to hit him.
Yeah,
I beat him because I was playing Goldango Saralich Briar, and I Briared him for game, and he didn't expect it. And then
such a good card
against Bradner, he was playing that Zoar Guardy deck that won the tournament. I had no idea what was going on. He beat me game 1, and then game 2 just lasted so long that I don't think it finished. Or I think I scooped him because like I had no way to win, but I did lose to Isaiah because he was running like Budu Guardy, and I was like, crazy. I didn't really know what was going on. It was weird. It was tough though.
Do you ever consider the fact that you're also like technically a big name?
I guess it is kind of weird though, because like I do have like decent accomplishments. I don't have like a top 8 or anything, which I'm hoping in the future I can change that. But
no, you're good for it.
Yeah, I mean. It's interesting because even when I've hit like some of the other top players, like when I've hit Isaiah or I've hit Henry Chow, like they know me. I don't know them, but they know of me, which I still find like I found that kind of weird. I remember when I sat down against Isaiah, and when we like started the game or whatever, Isaiah flipped over the Ralts, I flipped over the Gimme Ghoul, and Bradner's like, oh, there's a shock. Because he knows I'm known for playing Goldango, so he knows me. Like I just didn't like, and even with Henry Chow when I hit him, like. I feel like he was the first time meeting me, and I didn't really know him beforehand. So it was cool to like meet some of these top players. It does feel weird, like knowing that I'm a bigger figure in the community, but even then, I'm still like kind of mind blown that some of these other big players like know me like that. I don't know. I just found that kind of interesting.
Yeah,
no, that's super cool.
I'm sure it is interesting. That like I think I talked to Juancho about it briefly off camera. And then I spoke with like a couple of other players I just interacted with. Like I knew when I was up against Bradner, I just like talked to him because I was like, I'm not winning this game, so I might as well just like ask him questions and like get some info out of him. Like just to talk, and like I think he kind of shared that sentiment as well. Like I'm sure it is weird. I guess I wonder if it's any different given that you have like a pseudonym that people like might see your matchup name and be like, oh, who is this? And then they're like, oh my god.
Yeah. I when I first got into IRL, especially when we all had to use masks still, like I was surprised people recognized me. Like I would sit down at the table and they wouldn't even I'd be like, no, this person knows who I am. I got the mask on. No one really knows my actual real name. But then people were like, we'd be like, oh, you're LittleDarkFury. I'm like, how'd you know that? Like, I just think that's kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, like not to like blow smoke up you, but like you're a big part of this community. You're a big member. You have done a lot, I'd say. You certainly, there's people on Twitter accusing you of manipulating the meta at times, all right? Like that's how you know you've made it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about accusing you on Twitter of manipulating the meta.
The meta manipulator, yep.
It's outstanding.
I remember, I mean, for me it was kind of cool, just like even so I remember very shortly after I started, I think probably within like 2 or 3 months of starting like playing on live, at least I don't think I was even on paper yet. I had been watching, like YouTube, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me find some content creators, let me get some deck ideas, and I checked your stuff out, and then like maybe like a couple of weeks after like first starting to watch your videos, I think I literally hit you on live for like the one and only time I've ever done it. But I think I hit you on live, and unfortunately for you, I was running Klefki Zork V-Star, and so starting Klefki, I was like, all right, I'll just have this up here, let's see what happens. And sure enough, you were on Lost Box, so it was just like comfy in the auto scoop. Like I no blame there, honestly. I would too. So but it was a really cool experience as like a new player coming into that and immediately just having that kind of like, oh, that's cool, the game put me up against like the content creator, at least for like that. I think like a lot of new players especially will like gravitate towards your content because it's the inevitability of like, I want to be different, I want to learn the game differently, and I don't want to the Reddit cry of I don't play meta, I want to I play off meta, and sure enough, like it's fun. Like I'll admit, like I was kind of in that same mindset when I started, and it's that slow realization of like, oh, playing meta isn't bad, it's good, it's how you get a lot better at the game. But starting out with like the rogue decks just for fun, that was so cool to just like kind of run into that.
Yeah. It gives you like a good understanding of like the game more, and it also gives you like a better like outside view of what the TCG is like, instead of just kind of being boxed in with only the meta decks like Gardevoir, Dragapult, Goldango. Like being able to kind of look outside the box, I think it's a cool way. It's also just nice to like do different things, right? So.
Yeah.
Well, and there's some rogue decks that are just also really great at teaching fundamentals of the game, I think.
I agree.
Like if you go back to, and maybe this is like my bias showing because I started in Sword and Shield, but if you go back to that Lunatone Soul Rock deck with Radiant Greninja, Pokestop, and all that, like that was an exceptional deck for teaching the fundamentals of the TCG, because you had resource management, you had making sure you don't deck yourself out, which I did countless times. You have like what it's like to have a one of card in there that you have to make sure that you keep a hold of, and like stadium management, making sure you can bump stadiums, and also like preparing attackers. And it's really cool to have like rogue decks just in the game that are viable, because I think like Pokemon TCG gameplay is very much a bell curve where like the bottom level of play and the top level of play are very much just the same thing of like, oh, I'm just gonna I'm gonna Badoo every turn until something happens. Not to dunk on top level players, because obviously there is a lot of nuance and there's like plenty of other actual things happening, but in my head that's kind of like what makes sense to me. It's like, oh, we're gonna use Frillish and attack that with the same every turn, and that's gonna be how we play the game. But yeah, I think it's so valuable to have something different, because sometimes it's cool to just like win with your favorite guys. We have a friend in our area that like just really loves Dragapult as a Pokemon, and so in fact, back when Dragapult was bad, April was still like really big on it, but then it became good, and she's been like over the moon ever since. I think she actually stopped playing it because it became popular, but
it's like Goldango with me, Yeah.
It's cool to be able to like win with your favorites. Like I'm sure everybody who was like an Umbreon stan was loving when Arc Umbreon was good.
Oh, of course.
I'm a Sableye and Cramorant fan,
Like
so like
half the
Lost
community.
Box is still one of my favorite decks of all time. I still have our 60 sleeved up in some Dragon Shields in the second room. But it's cool to have that possibility to just like play with your favorites as well as the stuff that's strong.
Yeah.
Along that line, actually, I wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite Pokemon, or maybe not one of your favorites necessarily, but like a Pokemon that has grown on you in its appeal? Like you didn't used to care for it, but after playing it in a deck or in a team for like the video game or anything like that, that it kind of grew on you to a point where you're like, no, I think really fondly on this guy now.
Honestly, like probably like Regigigas. That was a Pokemon that I like. I was never really into the Regis growing up. But after like playing a lot of the Regi decks, like even Regidrago, which kind of took off obviously as its own deck, like learning more about the Regis and stuff was really cool. And I would argue that Regis are just really like awesome Pokemon. They're one of my favorite Pokemon now. Like I would argue Gigas is one of my new favorite Pokemon of the modern era.
That's really cool. Yeah, I totally see that. I think the photo that we took at that Charlotte Regional, you have Regigigas, the plushie, like with you.
Yeah, he's right here.
The ghost.
Still have
him.
He just sits beside me every day, like right here on my ETB stack.
That's so sick.
Oh yeah,
I love that. Very cool. I had a feeling you might say that, but I wanted to make sure I asked because like that's a cool like bond to share. I found myself like, I care a lot more for Inteleon than I ever did prior to like playing it in a deck. Like I don't know, those are some of the most cool bonds you can make with like, if you can call it a bond, but like a connection you can make with a Pokemon is like playing it and not really caring for it prior, but like through trial and tribulation and like victory and loss, being like, no, you're actually kind of sick. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Johnny, do you have anything you wanted to ask on this before we kind of move on to the content creation side of things?
No, not really. I think the last few of my questions probably just kind of fall into kind of superfluous extra stuff at this point. So let's move on to the content creation, because that's the, I think, the stuff that people really want to hear, or maybe not really want to hear, but I think that's the cool stuff in my opinion. I don't know about you, but no.
No, I'm curious about it as well. And we spoke briefly at that table in Charlotte, but I want, so I guess, Matt, we can start. What got you into content creation? Did you like go to school for film for anything, or did you just have another experience? Did you grow up watching a YouTuber and want to emulate that, or what was the story behind how you got into creating content, whether it was Pokemon related or not?
Yeah, so growing up, used to watch a lot of YouTube and like Call of Duty YouTubers specifically. So like YouTubers, like one that stands out to me is Ali A, who when I first made my YouTube channel, I wanted to be like him. And I started originally making COD content until I pivoted over to PCGO content in 2014. So probably like a year of just COD content until I moved over to Pokemon. But that's what I originally wanted to do, because I watched a lot of Ali A and I wanted to be a COD YouTuber. And then I found out PCGO was like really easy to make videos on. So I just did that instead and had more fun making PCGO videos. But at the same time, I was still watching PCG channels like the Top Cut, aka Puka, who obviously works at Pokemon now, but he's like the grandfather of Pokemon TCG and like, content creation in this scene. He's like the first one to really get big. He's the one that really, I think, set the groundwork for where we are today with like Pokemon deck profile and gameplay videos. And then also like Yellow Swallow also was another YouTuber that I really enjoyed watching and kind of got a lot of inspiration from when I was kind of coming up in the late 2010s there in the content scene. So those are like the three channels that really got me into like inspire me to like do content and be consistent with it. I'm honestly still trying to continue the formula that like both Yellow Swallow and Puka have kind of laid the groundwork for. I know like the content scene is like really changing nowadays, and it's like a lot different than it was in the late 2010s. But I'm still kind of like I'm still trying to like keep that formula and that agenda alive. That very simplistic of just make a deck, explain it, play it, get some good matches, and like the simplicity of it, I think, just is really nice. And I'm still keeping that formula alive. And even like Puka and Yellow Swallow both were like rogue deck-ish channels. They played a lot of rogue decks, and I'm just trying to kind of continue their legacy, I feel like, in the content scene.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate that. My Pokemon viewing content is like total polar opposites, because I've got you on one hand with the very clean and simple, like, here's the deck, here's how it plays, here's like whatever information you have. And then I forget the name of the page, but there's an Instagram page I follow that they do like VGC, like meme brain rot content.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's always just like matchups that if you go into it not knowing anything about like the game or the match,
Oh yeah,
like it'll
yeah.
still be like a little entertaining, but you'll be like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
But it's a blast to watch. But like it is the value of having something simplistic and engaging cannot be overstated, because sometimes I'll open an Instagram and get one of those videos and I'm like, I can't deal with this right now. I need you to go away. I need something calm and simple to cleanse my palate. Oh man.
Oh man.
It's bad. I'll have to find the Instagram.
I know
page and
exactly what you're
Johnny.
talking about. Oh yeah, yeah. I've run across those videos before, either between like showdown stuff or people actually doing stuff in like Scarlet Violet comp scene. But it's so fun to watch stuff like that.
I love watching VGC games as well. Like,
yeah,
there's something different about it. Matt, have you watched any like VGC stuff at all? Just out of like you had spare time or just wanted to?
The only VGC YouTuber I watch is Wolfie. Like I don't know that much about the VGC, but I know enough of it with like Wolfie's videos. Like Wolfie, he just makes like different types of videos than what all the other VG YouTubers make. So his video is a lot more digestible, I would say. You don't have to be like a great expert at the VGC to like watch his content and understand what's going on.
Yeah, it's very consumer friendly, which I admire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. I'm curious. Sorry, my eye's killing me right now.
Yeah, you're good.
Looking at a bunch of lights in front of me. Where did you get your experience in editing and just like making your thumbnails? Was that all like self-taught? Did you kind of have to go through the ringer with that, or did you have like a class on it? I know like a lot of people in the YouTube space who will have like gone to school for film or something like that. But what was your experience like with that?
So in college, I took interactive media design, which was like building websites, and I only made it through one semester before I moved over into like business side of things in college. But we did have a course where we learned a little bit about Adobe Premiere Pro, and I already like at that point I was using Sony Vegas to edit my videos. Like it's honestly like not that hard to learn. Like, well, the basic of editing, especially within like the Pokemon community, you don't have to do an insane amount of editing when you're making a Pokemon TC Live gameplay video, because like you don't want to do that because people want to just watch raw gameplay a lot of the time. So you don't have to edit as much. So like the simplicity of it was good, but I did learn a little bit more about Photoshop and about Adobe Premiere Pro in my media literacy class that I took before I moved over into human resources in college. But I have like some experience. Also, just at this point, it's honestly just muscle memory. Like I could open Adobe Premiere Pro and edit one of my videos in like 10 minutes because I'm just so like used to it now. I just know like it's literally just muscle memory. And the same thing with Photoshop, which I've been using for probably like 8 years now. Ever since I got it with my class, I found a way to keep it on my computer without having to get rid of it and buy a trial. But I still use Photoshop to this day, and it's like I'm still learning some cool tricks about how to make like different thumbnails. Like I'm trying to like experiment more with like my thumbnails, or at least I want to do that more. It feels like the YouTube scene is evolving so much. I used to do my face in my thumbnails for a while. It used to be my shtick for like at least 4 years, but I feel like recently the algorithm just wasn't very kind to that type of content anymore. And I just recently, I just changed my thumbnails not too long ago from the faces now, from the face to like just like 2 cards zoomed in, which is like kind of boring. You know, I don't like those thumbnails. I think they're lame. But unfortunately, it's because all the other YouTubers are doing it. It's what gets clicks. It's what the algorithm likes right now. So I took out the face, and now I'm just doing like very boring Pokemon card images zoomed in thumbnails. But
it's funny you say that. We were discussing exactly that topic like right before you joined in the call. Just because we found it interesting. Like I was actually curious about like why maybe that was, and I guess like knowing that it's like kind of the YouTube meta now. If you could though, like what kind of thumbnails would you make? Like if you could just make whatever you wanted to for your thumbnails and have it perform the same or better, like what would you want? Like what's your vision for the ideal like YouTube thumbnail?
Some of my favorite thumbnails from the Pokemon community was Yellow Swallows. He used to do thumbnails where he would like zoom in on the card on PDCGO and then he'd put like a PNG image of a Pokemon featured in the deck beside the image. It was just very clean and simple thumbnails. But I would love to bring those back. I don't know if that's feasible though. Like I don't know if like a PNG image of a Pokemon with the card zoomed in would work as well anymore. But that used to be some of my favorite styles. That's something I would love to replicate one day, but just kind of tough to do. Honestly, like even the way like Mahone did his thumbnails, he would honestly do whatever he wanted with his thumbnails for a while, which I found really impressive, considering they worked the best for him because he was the biggest YouTuber at the time. And I've wanted to try the animated thumbnails for a bit. I would need to probably get somebody to like commission me thumbnails because I don't know anything about that. But I do have a few video ideas in mind in the future, probably for my second channel, where I do want to try these thumbnails. So I'm probably like looking at that. I'm gonna see if I can talk to someone who makes these animated thumbnails, and I'll get them to like draw me one of those. And I have some cool ideas for that.
I didn't even realize that animated thumbnails were a thing.
It's like what Wolfie does for his thumbnails, right? How it's like cartoony thumbnails. That's what I'm talking about, like that style.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think I'm pretty sure I noticed that like Mahone started using something similar to that as well, where he had like
doing
a
that
couple of
recently,
commissioned avatars. Which, by the way, is such a genius move to have like just an avatar of you that you in like a couple of selection of poses, and you can just like, oh, let me put this in there and just have it ready to go. That was probably made popular by like Twitch and stuff like that. I want to say, like with with their emotes.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's probably the new wave of thumbnail that I'm assuming in the next year or so is probably going to be a little bit more common. It's a bit harder to do for me though, because like my channel is daily content. I don't think that type of thumbnail works for my type of content where I'm posting like a new deck every single day. Those videos work better as like project style videos. Like if I'm doing that thumbnail every single day for a new deck, it probably won't hit the same. But if it's like once a month, I'm posting like a cool like big special video and I use that as my thumbnail, not only will the video perform better, but it makes it more special. I don't think I can spam that every video. I have to be posting like once a week to do that effectively, because I post daily, it just won't work. So I have some cool ideas for my second channel, and I'm gonna try to see and experiment with that idea, because those videos do really good. Every time I've seen somebody with a animated thumbnail, it's like those videos perform better than they normally would.
Yeah, it seems like it. Oh, interesting. Did you ever delve into stream? I thought about like with the Twitch comment. Like, did you ever do any streaming stuff? Would you want to?
I stream from time to time. I used to stream a lot more like back in the day, like early 2020s. I would stream, but just recently, like I've been focusing so much on content and just obviously being always super busy outside of YouTube. I haven't really had enough time to stream. I haven't streamed actually since probably the release of Mega Evolution. So it's been like at least a few months. Like I didn't even get to stream for Phantasmal Flames, because at least I'll stream a couple times when a new set launches, but I wasn't able to because I was in Vegas. But hopefully I can stream again when the Sending Heroes comes out. But I used to stream a lot more. Like before I wanted the goal of getting Twitch partner, you know, being one of the larger channels on Twitch, like I had dreams, and I don't know, just like there's so much work that goes into streaming for me. Like it takes like, you at least have to commit 3 to 4 hours a day to stream, and it gets tiring and exhausting. And I would rather use all my energy on creating content on YouTube, which I just have more passion in streaming. Like streaming is really fun. I do enjoy talking to people and interacting with chat. It's just like I can't do that every day, and some days where it's like I could stream, I'm like, I'm not in the mood to. Like I kind of want to just wind down and relax, you know. And I want to put more of my effort into just making videos than streaming. But I do stream from time to time.
There's also something to be said for like, and maybe this is like a really heady thing, at least for like what we're talking about. There's something to be said about like how streaming is still creating like ephemera. Like you're not making something that's going to be evergreen per se, or even just like a time capsule. Like if I was to go up and pull up your Darkrai V-Star video that which is the deck list I used when I started playing that deck. If I was to pull that up, that's still like an insight of what the game was like at that point, like general like thoughts on certain cards, what the meta kind of was and wasn't. I'm able to kind of glean that from a video like that. But if I'm watching a Twitch stream, that's here today and gone tomorrow. And even if I watch the VOD, like all it is an idea of is like what it was like on that day. And when you kind of get to that point, it's kind of like it all blurs together. I streamed for a while to very little success, but like, I mean, I found myself kind of having that same frustration of like, I'd rather put my energy towards making content that's proper. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Like I do enjoy streaming, and like I'm probably gonna try to stream again when the next set drops. But yeah, it's just like it's just so much work in my opinion. It's not like a lot of work. It's just you have to commit so many hours to doing it, right? You gotta sit there for like 4 hours and sit in front of a camera and just talk the whole time. I don't know if I can do that every single day. Like
being on a camera like that would be exhausting.
Because at least creating content, you have control of what you want to do. Whereas when you're streaming, you're just like constantly talking. And again, it's fun. It's mostly like I find most enjoyment out of it is when new cards come out because like I'm always like I'm excited to play the game and like I can use that energy and just put it into streaming and then I can use the streams and turn into videos. But naturally, like right now, for example, like I have no desire to stream because like what the heck am I even gonna play? Like I'll play like 1 or 2 decks, but it's like I'd rather just take the time and make that video instead of streaming for 3 hours playing a deck that's like kind of stale.
No, that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I was gonna actually bounce off of that. What I was wondering what kind of drives you to maybe I guess hit the like content creation grind on the daily basis, right? Because you're on like 1 video a day, you know, like there's a lot of commitment. Like what keeps you kind of like moving towards that goal?
Well, there's a few things. There's probably like at least like 3 or 4 reasons. The first reason is it's fun. Like since I'm playing a new deck every day, like it actually is a lot of fun waking up and then logging into live and then like looking at what deck I want to make a video on. I usually try to plan ahead what I'm going to make a video on. So like I'm not scrambling last minute to come up with a deck idea for the day. But it is fun. Just playing a new deck every day is like really cool because I'm just doing something different, right? It keeps it fresh. Secondly, it's obviously like I want to feed the algorithm. I want the channel to keep growing, and I think doing daily content is the best. And the third reason is because Pokemon is not as big as like other games. So like monetary value is not there. So having to post a video every day keeps it a full-time job. If I'm posting 3 videos a week, and those videos are getting 10, 12K views, it's like I'm not going to make that much money, and I probably can't do it as a job. But it's also like the daily grind is fun, and I've been doing it for a while now. I used to be at a point where like I would literally try to do a video every single day, like no matter what. But it's at a point now where like I'm okay with taking at least a day or 2 off if I really have to. Like if I know I'm too tired to make a video or something came up or I'm going away for a trip or something, then I will probably at least take a day or 2 off of no uploads. But I try to at least upload at least 7 times a week to 6 times a week if worse comes to worse. And worse usually comes to worse like maybe like once a month at most. It's like I'm probably uploading like 50 videos a year on the main channel alone, right? And then I have my second channel where it's like if I don't upload on the main channel, I can just make a video on my second channel instead, and it's like, well, you still have content from me at the end of the day.
That's true. I totally get that. I can understand that. Just wanted to keep I mean, obviously like everyone's like you got to work for a living one way or the other. So that's really cool just to have that as the as what you do as a living. I know a lot of people are, I'm sure, like, oh yeah, I want to do that. That's kids look up to that. I know that's where I was for a time period, at least, when I was a lot younger. It's just it's a fun idea. With kind of that, do you ever like try to develop a backlog of videos, or is that like, are you like I'm gonna toy with like 1 deck a day, but I'm gonna make I'm gonna like try to come up with like 3 decks on this one day, and then I'll go and do each one subsequently for the next couple of days or so? Or is it like, oh, I'm gonna do 3 decks and then record all 3 in the same day?
I usually, unless I'm going away on a trip, I usually just make 1 video a day on the channel. If I'm busy the next day and I can't record, then I'll record a second video. It's mostly when I go away on trips to like tournaments or whatever, like for Las Vegas regionals. I didn't have to. Well, I guess better example would be for like Milwaukee, which was for that. For Milwaukee, when I was away for like 4 days, I couldn't make content. I just took like a couple days where I just made like 3 videos a day and scheduled them all to go up while I was away. But for Vegas, I didn't do that because I literally brought my setup with me. I got a new laptop to make content on. I brought my camera and my mic and stuff to Las Vegas to make videos because I didn't want to miss the new set release. I've never missed a new set release ever on the channel, and I decided I didn't want to do that. I also wanted to really go to Las Vegas, so like it's the best of both worlds, right? So
that's crazy, by the way. That's so much drive to do all that. Like I'm so impressed.
I'm having fun making the videos. Like, honestly, like, I don't really look at it as a job that much. Like, it obviously is a job, but I don't really look at it that way. I don't treat it like a job,
Yeah.
which I think keeps it, good. Like, if I'm acting like it's a job and I'm like every day I have to wake up and do this, like, oh man, I want to do that. But I'm never like that. I'm always like, yeah, I'm excited to play the game. Like, even if the format isn't great or stale, which is kind of stale at the moment, I'm still like gonna have fun. There's so many cards in the game right now where it's like it really doesn't feel like I'm gonna run out of ideas probably until like the next set drops anyways. So it's like good timing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That said, I wanna kind of ask you. We don't have this on the docket, but I'm curious. Do you have anything that you're really excited about from the reveals for the upcoming set?
Well, it's nice that the set is massive. Well, as a content creator, I like that. Obviously, Phantasmal Flames was a bit of a letdown. It was a very tiny set. Like I think probably like by now I'm already out of Phantasmal Flame deck ideas. Like I'm gonna try to just make other weird stuff work. But Ascending Heroes is humongous. There's so many new megas. I'm really looking forward actually to the starter mega evolutions. Meganium, Fraligator, and Embor look like they're going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm more interested in the start deck megas than the actual megas from like the Dragonite stuff, because like those they're okay, but like I don't know, the other megas are a lot more cooler. So I'm also just as a content creator, I'm happy there's a lot of cards coming out. It just needs more videos and it just keeps things fresh for a while until we get rotation, which I think is gonna be the next set after Ascending Heroes. So having a giant set is gonna be good. It'll keep things fresh until rotation.
Yeah. I love an infusion of like a bunch of cards into the format. Like right before and right after rotation, I think are probably my favorite times of the TCG, because
I agree.
There's just so much change happening all at once, and you get all these ridiculous new like decks and changes to decks and different ideas, like because then you start to revisit like, oh, there's some stuff I probably could have like done well beforehand that I haven't really thought about, and I want to make sure that I try it before it goes away forever. And
exactly,
oh, here's these new things. I want to see how they interact with like old tools that we have. Like, I love stuff like that. Like, I think about what's one that was it's escaping me right now. But
I mean, the big thing I think for us was like Sable's art, honestly, like getting to revisit that for like a format or so.
It was really
right before rotation last year was like that was such a blast from the past, but it was so nice to be able to like pick that back up and actually perform insanely well with it for the time period, especially with all the Badoo naysayers coming in and saying, oh, you're never going to be able to switch. Boom, jet energy.
3 jet energy, baby. It was
3 jet energy. It solves your problems. Who knew?
It felt really good. I also think it's a shame we found that deck when we did too, though, because that's when I wanted to really be like botting Palkia Noctowl, because I love that deck so bad, and then and I just wasn't able to play it anymore because I was so hooked on the Sablezard drug. But yeah, I'm with you though on being stoked about the starter Mega Evolutions. Like, I cannot believe they printed a card that's gonna just do 400 damage outright, with no weakness, no resistance.
That was the YouTube short TikTok I posted today. It was about Fraligator. I'm like, this is literally the strongest Pokemon card ever made. It literally does 400 damage. No other card has ever done that before.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what like the design team is. And this isn't like me being accusatory or negative like I usually am, but like I can't imagine what they're thinking, being like, oh, we just gotta put a 400 damage attacker in the game, man. It's gotta be done.
It's crazy. The power of the card's real.
They see the monster they created in Kangaskhan with Bouffalance, and
they're like, all right, we gotta do something about this.
Hey, Fraligator's pretty good against Kangaskhan. It one-shots it. You put 2 damage on it, it one-shots it through Bravery Charm Bouffalance.
Pretty good.
Yep.
I'm actually curious also to get your thoughts, Matt, on the Mega Frostlass that's coming out. My initial thought is I'm a big fan of mini games in the Pokemon trading card game. I actually have Johnny laughs because he knows I have a GLC deck that is a psychic game show deck, where I put in like Lost Origin, Mr. Mime, where you have to rock paper scissors to see if you can like take damage next turn, and like the Pheasantipity, where you flip a coin to see if you're gonna take damage, and like Infiltrator Dragapult. And I put all of the like here's a Pokemon, what's its HP, or like what's its attack name, or like whatever. I put all of those into the same deck for
Juniper.
GLC. Yeah, Cedric Juniper. And I'm curious what to think because the first thing I saw, the first impression I had of Mega Frostlass was somebody was like, "Oh, this is a deck where we play 4 time." Because here's Badu. Am I getting 4 cards or am I doing 200 more damage? Take your pick.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty sick. Mega Frostlass actually has also been doing okay in Japan right now. What I've seen, it makes Frostlass Monkey Dory decks like a lot stronger. It's just randomly
Yeah.
just pop out of nowhere and one shot something for 1 energy. Yeah, it's a pretty sick card. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better megas in the set, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like competitive wise. Yeah.
It's a sweet design too. I freaking love that design.
It
Just
does look
like
pretty cool.
from an art perspective.
Yeah.
So cool.
Was gonna ask, unless you had anything else there, Glenn.
No, I'm good. I'm still coasting.
Oh yeah. I was gonna ask because you mentioned being excited about this this coming set because you're not enjoying the current format. What are your true thoughts on the current format? Kind of in general as a whole, and then like how have you enjoyed or not enjoyed maybe the introduction of like 3 prizers back into the meta? Because I think that's like been on everyone's minds the last couple of sets now.
So actually, it's interesting. I actually think the 3 prizers have saved the format a little bit. I think it's really cool that we have a variety of 3 prize Pokemon and 2 prize Pokemon and 1 prize Pokemon. I think it's actually really good game design. My issues with the format, it's that the same decks keep winning, like Goldengo, Gardevoir, Dragapult, Charizard. They've been around for years now. It's just so boring seeing the same shit win over and over again. But also, the item lock is something that I'm a little like, there's too much item lock. I think item lock's a little too good right now. Like Frillish and Budu are a little toxic. My local league on Friday, I lost a game because I forgot to Ultra Ball to grab a Pidgeot preemptively with my Charizard deck because I didn't know I was playing against a deck with Budu. They opened a Pheasantipity. That gave me no information. So I was like, I'm just going to hold the Ultra Ball because I might need it for next turn. And then I got Itchy Pollen and I lost the game because I bricked. Because I didn't Ultra Ball to grab a Pidgeot. Because my turn was TM Evo, Charmeleon, Pidgeotto with nothing else in hand other than Ultra Balls and a few other cards. But because I didn't know I was going to get Budded. And then I got Itchy Pollen and I lost because of it. So it's like, I think item lock is a little too broken. I think Budu's like fine. I think Frillish is a little too good. Also, I'm not a big fan of Goldengo. Like I know I'm a big Goldengo fan, but I think Goldengo is just kind of a little too good. I think Solrock Lunatone is a little bad game design paired with Goldengo. I'm just not a fan of that. Like again, the deck is like very good because it's hard to beat. That deck runs you over before you get to play the game, you lose. Like I think decks like that are problematic. There's a lot of just bad. I also don't like Dusknoir. Forgot to mention Dusknoir. I hate that card. I think that card sucks. I know Psyduck exists, but Klefki also exists. There's just a lot of cards in the game that I'm not a big fan of. But I do like generally right now, I like there's still a decent variety of what you can play. It is cool to see decks like Kangaskhan pop up, the Absol deck pop up, or even other Mega Evolutions. I like how Mega Evolutions are randomly partnered with Goldengo. That's one thing I'll say positive about Dengo Rocks is that while I think the deck is a very bad deck for the game, I think it is cool how that deck can pick between different Megas it wants to play for specific situations. I think that's really cool. So I think Megas actually have done more good for the format than hurt the format. And the 3 prize mechanic hasn't really been an issue right now because Megas aren't the face of the format. So it's not like games are decided in 2 turns like they were with the VMAXs. So I think the format is like, it's okay. It's stale. There's some problematic cards and decks in the format. Like I think Gardevoir is another deck that's maybe a little too good. But at the same time, like, I mean, we're always going to have a deck or two in a format at any given moment where it's a little too good or it's by far better than the rest, which is right now Gardevoir and Goldengo. But there's a decent amount of variety what you can play right now. Like I'm really enjoying playing Charizard at the moment. I might play Charizard at Toronto. I don't know what build yet, but I do like the variety right now. I'm just not a fan of the item lock and the Dengo Rocks, Gardevoir, like being the best decks. Like I think those are just badly designed decks for the game. But the format's okay. Rotation looks cool, though I am worried that Dragapult will be BDIF, and Dragapult Dusknoir is a deck that I think is also bad for the game. It's just not as good right now as it used to be because it has a bad matchup against Dengo and Guardy. But I think Dragapult is like, if that deck becomes BDIF again, it's like we're gonna have a problem here, man. Like you got to do something, Pokemon with Dusknoir and Pult. But I don't know, like I'm having fun. Like it's fine. And again, there's so many cards right now you can play in the format. The card pool is pretty big, which I think makes for a lot of creativity, which is why I'm not as burnt out as I thought I would be with the game.
Yeah. I'm curious as to how like stuff like Mega Lucario is going to perform after Gardevoir kind of leaves the format. And just I'm curious as to like all the things that are going to change when we have this big shakeup with rotation, because you're right, like Dragapult does become really, really good after rotation. But I think by the same virtue of Dragapult becoming good, you know, it's kind of like a rising tide raises all ships thing, where it's like by virtue of that, Zoroark becomes better.
Yeah, Zoroark's looking like a great deck.
Yeah, Terrabox becomes a lot better if you can dodge Watchtower or tech in enough stadiums, or like Hill does or something. Because I mean, having the torrential pump, or like just the Lily Clefairy jump scare is always the one thing I will really miss about that rotates is going to be Mew EX. I think that makes your Dragapult matchup worse as Terrabox, but like not by that much.
Yeah, it's
still it's a play I'll miss doing, is being able to genome hacking for Phantom Dive. That's the biggest part. But I think you're totally right. I have always been a big preacher of 3 prizes are fine for the game. It's gotten me some weird looks. People don't seem to like that take very much, at least in our area. But I fully agree that they're like probably fine. Because I mean, I think of like my favorite formats that I've played, which granted I haven't been playing for very long. I started playing, I think in Astral Radiance actually, or maybe Pokemon Go. But my favorite format in recent history of like the modern era was probably Paradox Rift, and like
Paradox was very good. Yeah,
that was such a sweet format, and like praised kind of universally. And it was when there was some of the most variety in what 3 prizers you could use. You know what I mean? Like that was when like Rapid Strike Box was still present, Mew VMAX was still present, my goat. Like, and there was a handful of other VMAX. I miss it every day.
The VMAX of VMAXs.
But like, it's stuff like that like makes me think like they're probably fine for the game. And another hot take I have that I want to know what you think is, I've seen a lot of online complaining about Boss's orders just like being in the format. And I really want to know kind of your thoughts on it. I'll save mine for after you, because I don't want to like poison the well, as it were.
So, I mean, okay, so Boss is interesting. I've never had a problem with Boss's order, even when they had like the broken Guzma, which was like even better than Boss. I think Boss is like fine for the game, even when it exists with cards like Luminion or Tapu Lele GX or the new Meowth EX, where you can like find it easily. It turns your Ultra Balls into Boss's orders. Like that's pretty good. But I've never had an issue with it. Like I don't think it's that bad. Also, it's kind of necessary right now in this format with Item Lock and Monkey Dory. When Pokemon print these really powerful cards that sit on the bench, like Monkey and Gardevoir, even Dengo to a degree, like anything like Pheasantipity, like these bench sitters that make the game less enjoyable, I think Boss is necessary to have in the format to actually counter them. Like Gardevoir EX would be BDIF by far if there was no Boss in the format, because you could never kill the Gardevoir. You'd have to play like Double or something like really jank to do it. Because Boss exists, like having Boss kill Gardevoir is a very good way to beat Gardevoir EX. Like I think it's a necessary evil to have when Pokemon make broken bench sitters the norm right now. Like Monkey Dory is another example where it's like every deck plays Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory is really good, but the best way to play against Monkey Dory is to just spam Boss's order, go around it, and not let it use Adrenabrain and take advantage of that, right? So like I think Boss is fine. It does make the game a little boring. Like decks like Goldengo is like another example of why I think Dengo is a badly designed deck right now. It's because of Boss's order. Like it always can take a prize. It either goes Soul Rock to kill your little guys, or they go Dengo to kill your big guys. And sometimes you get run off the board, or you get out tempoed before you can even have a chance to win the game. That's the deck that I think uses Boss in an evil way. But outside of that, I think Boss is like a perfectly designed card. I don't know. I don't have an issue with it. I understand why people don't like it. It's frustrating, obviously, to lose to Boss to game off of an Iono. But it's like, I think it's necessary to have a card this powerful in a format where there's so many Pokemon that sit on the bench and abuse their abilities from the bench when it's harder to go after them.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. We were talking a little bit before the show started. It really was exactly what we were saying. Was man, Monkey Dory is kind of too good, and everything's
the problem
right now. And Boss really isn't a big problem. So my take at least was that Boss isn't the problem. It's the problem of having not just Boss, but also having like situational gust, right? You've got
Yeah.
your Counter Catcher, you've got your Iron Bundle, and I don't think those cards are bad by themselves, but I think in a format where you're like, oh, I can go boss for turn, and then next turn, I can lose prize advantage and Counter Catcher Iono, right? Like having Gust back to back, and also a hand disrupt on the same turn right after that Gust, like that's just that feels more oppressive.
Terrible.
That feels more oppressive than just like, oh, boss this turn, because boss this turn means I'm not hand disrupting. It means I'm not going through my deck more. It means I'm not lilying for 8 cards on this turn or something like that. You know, like it's just boss.
Yeah, I agree. That's the one thing with boss, right? It wastes your supporter for the turn. Now, it's really good in a deck like Goldengo, where your supporter for turn is the amount of cards you draw with Lunatone and Goldengo. So it's like they don't care about spamming boss. That's why I think boss is a bad card in Goldengo, because it makes that deck too aggressive. But outside of that, it's like it's a necessary card to have in a format where these bench sitters, right, are chilling on the bench.
Like the fact that Fez exists. You have to have
I will say Counter Catcher, I'm actually not a big fan of Counter Catcher myself, especially when it was around with Snorlax. I think Counter Catcher was a card that didn't need to be reprinted.
True.
But my opinion on Counter Catcher recently has been a little bit more positive, because it is really good to have against Fezandipity. Counter Catcher Iono against a deck using Fez sometimes is the only way to come back against these aggressive decks where it's like, I'm going to take the first 2 prizes, bench a Fez, and it's like, you have to prize race me, or else I'm always taking 2 a turn. But it's like, with Counter Catcher Iono, it's a bit easier to beat those decks, where you can kind of play around their strategy of just like, they're trying to prize race you, where you can actually get rid of their way of doing that. So Counter Catcher, I think, should exist if Fez exists. Maybe without Fez, it shouldn't exist, but with Fez in the format, I think it's actually like not that bad.
Yeah. I think what makes Counter Catcher for some folks feel problematic right now is, like you were talking about earlier about like the Dusknoir line. I think having those 2 in the same format was one of the biggest game design blunders in the modern era.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
I can't imagine.
My take on that is, I do think Counter Catcher Dusknoir is bad. I think Counter Catcher Budu Dusknoir is even worse. I don't know. Those 2 cards coexisting shouldn't be a thing. That's why Dragapult wins games. It shouldn't beat Gardevoir like 90% of the time, but it does, because sometimes you just win games by going Itchy Pollen into Dusknoir board wipe.
Jeez. Yeah. No, you're so right. It's exactly that. I think we've kind of like hit the unfortunate situation where a lot of the individual pieces of decks right now are like kind of fine in a vacuum, but we've hit this perfect storm of like, oh, we've got Budu and Dusknoir and Counter Catcher and Fez, and you know, and so on and so on and so on. It's like all these guys at the same time. Because I mean, you think back to like wasn't it like a Tapu Lele had the same thing that was printed on Fez? Or
I think it was Oricorio.
Oricorio, that's right. I was thinking even a little Lemon, but yeah, like Oricorio was the same thing, but wasn't even, if I'm understanding correctly, like all that competitively viable. So it's curious how we've gotten ourselves into this position from a game design perspective. I don't know. I'm always so curious about that stuff, because it's like, man, they gotta have people who are like testing this stuff, right?
Surely.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. And of course, like Johnny said, you hit exactly my sentiment about like boss and all that other stuff, and like Monkey Dory, who I think is like one of the biggest supervillains of the format.
It's pretty bad.
But, like, I didn't realize I came to watch Ping Pong.
Yeah, Monkey's cool when there's no like way to like use Monkey every single turn, like with Gardevoir or something. But when it's like, when you can use it with Gardevoir as like an extra way to do more spread damage randomly, that's where Monkey becomes a little toxic, in my opinion, anyways.
Oh yeah, you're doing 90 for completely free for doing what you already do.
Yeah,
so,
it's it goes into, I don't want to say like it's not win more territory, but it's like if this was like any other type of video game or something like that, like video game, card game, whatever, that is like win more territory, right?
Yeah,
so that just goes into like I'm just gonna ramp damage more, you know. In this case, it's just the part of the strategy, but still.
All right. Yeah, certainly. Okay, I definitely want to move past like the complaint about the format. Johnny, that's just what you and I do every week, is complain about the format.
Right.
I don't want to bring somebody else into that unless they want to be.
Oh man, geez. One of the positive things for me at least, and for kind of both of us in general, is because the format has gotten a little rougher for us. on live especially, we have been, and just in general, we've been enjoying like alternative formats. And so I'm kind of using this as like a hard segue, but GLC has been kind of the big thing for us, I think, lately, locally especially. But having GLC on live has been a lot of fun. And I was kind of wondering what has been your experience with GLC on live? Like, have you been enjoying it? Have you not really engaged with it much?
Yeah.
Have you not engaged with too many of the trainer trials?
I've played a bit of trainer trials. Just recently, I just haven't really put as much time in with it. I've played a bit of the GLC. It's fun. I actually haven't played GLC in a while, to be honest. I played a little bit of it side events in IRL, but recently I just haven't been as much into GLC. A lot of my older cards that I own, a lot of them just go into like the retro decks that I like to build. So instead of building GLC, I'll build like a deck from like the 2018 era or 2017 era instead. Which I think is cool, and that's something I maybe want to make content on at some point in the future. Is like retro deck gameplay.
Should.
I definitely want to do that. Yeah, I have a lot of decks built. It's just I need like to find a way to like make it work. But yeah I mean,
you got to reach out to
like
Alex Wilson. He's a Charlotte local. He's the one who did like PDCG Legends.
I do. Yeah, I use that website a lot for when I'm building like a deck, especially my 2010 decks that I built. I use that website a lot to come up with ideas.
He's a cool guy, and I've got an in with him from Wancho, and he's just like around. He's actually at Maple, which is where that cup was that I judged this weekend. Freaking crazy turnout, by the way.
Oh, that's super sick. Oh yeah. For us though, it's been a lot of fun. So that's kind of why I was wondering about that. And we actually I know Glenn didn't have as much time to do it last weekend, but Zach and I actually sat down last weekend to do some retro format stuff because Zach proxied out some RSPK decks. That was such a blast. Like coming from having not touched those kinds of cards since I was in like I think 5th grade or something like that, to like, oh, okay, yeah, I can pick these up and play these again. What? Quick search Pidgeot, but not busted.
I'd say more busted.
Super cool.
But
more
busted, but maybe in that sense, but not crazy high health totals that you have to like worry about trying to reach. But yeah, no, that's really cool. I didn't play enough in the Diamond Pearl era to know too many of the decks, but beyond the like Machamp Nidoking deck that you had, what are some of your other favorites from that era to kind of have built out, or that you have built out?
Right now, I have Luxchomp built. That's like considered to be the best deck of the era, though. Like looking back, maybe it's not. But I have Luxchomp built. I got Dialgachomp, which is debatably the best deck. There's Cursegar, which is one of my favorite decks to play in the retro format. Cursegar is like really good. It's probably the best deck. And then there's Regigigas, which is personally my favorite retro deck that I play right now is Gigas, because it's a very unique deck where you like knock your own Pokemon out to attach energy and heal it, and it's got 2 really cool attacks, and there's a lot of really cool plays you can make. There's a Mesprit in the deck that you use to ability lock your opponent. That's a really cool deck. There's Torterra Flygon, which has a lot of healing in it. That's a really cool one to play. Kind of boring though, because like if you set it up, like it doesn't lose a lot of the time because it just sits there and infinitely heals. But 2010 is a very good format because there's so much variety. You do have your turbo decks like Jumpluff and Gyarados are good examples of like a turbo deck, but then you have a lot of like the slower paced decks like Luxchomp or the Cursegar deck. There's decent item lock. There's balanced item lock in the format with Spiritomb, which item locks both players, but also lets you evolve up your board. It's like TM Evo Budu in one card. It's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, 2010 is a great format. I know a lot of people really like RSTK. I haven't personally played that or looked into it much. I know a little bit about it, but I heard that's good. And then 2018 is like another really good format. Like Sun and Moon to Lost Origin specifically is like a popular format. I'm working on building that right now, actually, as my my next retro project. Because I want to build that format. But yeah, I really enjoyed 2010. Every time I go to my locals on Friday, my buddy Alan, who I grew up with playing, I always try to bring my decks. So if he goes, we'll like run a few games before the tourney starts. Yeah,
nice.
It's a lot of fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
We love doing stuff like that. Yeah,
like we said, we do a lot of the Paradox Rift stuff. We have a group of us that do Paradox Rift. I've actually been working on for a while. I want to build and this is controversial, I guess, but like I want to build old stuff from like the black and white era, like 2012, like peak Mewtwo Wars, like because I have really fond memories of that era because that was my first deck I played. I picked up It was Igor Costa's 2012 or was it 2011 like Darkrai Mewtwo deck. That was the first Pokemon product I ever got that I was like, oh, this is like what's considered good. Let me see what this is like and study it and try to like play it and figure out how it works. And so I have a lot of fond memories. He called it like Pesadillo Prism, and I've been trying to like pick up either the pre-con in packaging or just all the cards I need to actually make that deck happen for a couple years now. I have, albeit a very blind fondness for that era. So
That's fine. We all like our like awkward formats, right? Like the Mewtwo War format. A lot of people are not fond of that. I don't know anybody who has that format built, but that's the format I played in. Like I would be nostalgic for that too. Like if I ever had the chance to build and play it, I would probably do it just to like relive the old days like that. And like that's why like I do like the 2010 format is because that's when I grew up playing the game. When I first got in the game was 2010, early HGSS era. Like that, it also just clicks with me because it's from my childhood, right? That's part of why I want to build it. Not because it's good, but it is good, but also because like I'm very nostalgic for that time. And Paradox Rift, also something that I will probably end up building at some point too in the future. Maybe in like a year or two from now, when it gets a little bit more older, I definitely want to try to build something like the Paradox Rift meta, which was probably the best format of that era.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah. At some point, there's so much fun to be had when you're rebuilding retro stuff.
There it is. It's also really fun to build the retro decks because it's really fun to like look around for cards and stuff. I love going to card shops and looking through their bulk and seeing if there's any old stuff that's worth it to build and stuff.
Because you'll just find these things that are like, oh, this is a project I've been working on, and I can get it for like a couple cents on the dollar. Like instead of having to go out and seek for the card, like I'm here already. Let me just pick up a couple cards for like $1 or $2.
Yeah, there's a card store, or not really a card store. It's like a game vintage store like near my house, and they had like a bunch of Pokemon cards. I picked up a ton of Diamond and Pearl energy from their binders, and those are like not hard to get. They're not like the HGSS energies, but they're like they're not easy to come by. I picked up a ton of Diamond and Pearl energy for like super cheap, like literally like 25 cents an energy.
Oh my god.
Wow. It was crazy because like they didn't know that these cards are actually kind of decent. These old Diamond and Pearl energies are like kind of insane.
Shout out to old like game store owners having no idea when cards are valuable.
Dude,
my favorite thing.
That was me getting when I was first getting into like paper and Battle VIP Pass was like $3 a card, and Iona was like $2, $2.50 a card, and I hit like a flea market stand where the guy was like, yeah, anything in this bulk pile is like 25 cents a card. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I found like 2 or 3 play sets of each, and I was like, all right, yeah, let's go.
That's pretty crazy. It's always fun when that happens. Like some of these like random old like flea market and card stores, they'll have like binders and like boxes of like retro Pokemon cards, and like some of them are actually like good cards. And it's like that's like you're selling that for way cheaper than it's worth. And let me take it off your hands. That's what I was trying to do when I was trying to get. When I was trying to get the HCSS energies for a bit. I was trying to like go to these old stores to see if they had any, because sometimes they would undervalue what they were worth. Like that energy with like a Steelix or an Umbreon on it is worth like $30, but they're selling it for $2. And it's not even bad condition.
Pretty good. Pretty good, some might say.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I think we've kind of exhausted what we have listed on the doc. Johnny, do you have any other questions before we kind of close out?
I'm sure that eventually something's going to come up in my mind, but as of right now, no. Right. So we'll leave it there, and then if I have any in the future, maybe it's a reach back out kind of moment.
Yeah, it could be a part 2.
I think it'd be sweet to have you on for a bonus episode for a Boozin' battle, if you're interested. I don't know if you're not, but I think that'd be a lot of fun. Probably not the full best of 5 because that's lunacy, but I think it'd be fun to do. But yeah, if anything like that comes up, I'll definitely reach back out. Matt, you've been a delight to have on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm very appreciative that you joined us in our endeavors. I have a lot of fun learning about people's stories, learning about people's experience with Pokemon as a franchise. it's one of the more fun things I enjoy about this game is like the people. Like my philosophy has always been the best part about Pokemon TCG is the people you sit down across from, and you're definitely evidence of that. I think
Appreciate it.
you have a really interesting story. Your philosophy when it comes to deck building and card design is something that obviously I resonate with, and also I just think is neat. You bring a lot of value to this community, and I'm glad that we had a chance to sit down with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is a great little Christmas present for the folks at home. Once again, obviously I'll have all of LDF's channels linked below. Please, I mean, if somehow you are following this podcast and don't already follow him, please do that. I think it's in your best interest. Both of those links will be linked below. If you want to catch the next interview early or even have some of your own questions for any other guests read on the show, be sure to check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/terminalcreative at that $5 tier, and you can also get early access to this stuff. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to leave a like and a comment on the video. I'm also curious going into 2026. We talked about our Spotify Wrapped last episode, and it made it clear that not a lot of people use the comment sections on Spotify. So I wanna get an experiment through and see if we can get into like the top 10% or like 5% of people with comments on Spotify, because apparently there's not that many people using that feature, and I'm curious as to what that will do for the algorithm. So if you're listening on Spotify, drop us a comment and a rating as well. It helps out the show a lot. Helps me know that we're doing well, and it makes the happy chemicals in my brain. But most of all, thank you just for your support, watching, listening, sharing the videos with friends. It means a lot. It's exciting to bring this year to a close for the show, as we're going to be deliberating some changes in the new year. I appreciate all the support you guys have been doing. I think that's really about it. Johnny, do you have anything to say before we go?
No. It's been a blast of a year for us. And so, if you're listening to this on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas. And if you're listening to it before Christmas, Merry Christmas. And if you're not, then hope your Christmas was good.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, all the holidays. Enjoy them. Thank you very much for coming out and watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care. Farewell. Goodbye.
Peace.
Glenn, just a couple of housekeeping things I wanted to bring up. First and foremost, I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and all of that good stuff. It's been a fun 2025. Been a great year having Johnny on the show. Looking forward to more of that. Speaking of which, we're taking a break for the holidays, so we'll be back at the earliest. It'll be the week of the 10th and 11th, so episode will go live on Patreon on the 12th. If not, there'll be an episode on the Patreon on the 19th, which will be my birthday. That's in January, just because we're taking some time off to kind of assess where things are at, assess what we want to do with the show going into 2026, and all of that good stuff. Once again, I'll plug it again. Be sure to check out the Patreon, patreon.com/terminalcreative, where you can get, for $1 a month, you can get early access and access to N21 Plus. $5, you get access to the question feed, and $10 get your name right at the end of the show. Our current only member of that tier is, of course, our wonderful producer. Yup, it's me. Thank you so much for your ongoing support of N21FM, and thank you for an awesome 2025. Thanks so much. See ya.